We'll continue with the ANT one more time. I'll show the deployment using ANT. Then I'll go with the Eclipse. Right. So let us start the ANT deployment one more time. Let me remove the existing settings, what I have already set. Right. So look at the format. First, I'm going to the command line. Check out whether Java is installed. I remove the Java version. Okay. So it is installed, no issue. Then ANT version. Now I removed it. Now what I want to do, I want to set the environmental variable for Java ANT. When you want to deploy using an ANT, first thing that we need to do is download ANT migration tool. How do you download the ANT migration tool? So go to the setup, build, develop, tools, lighting platform tools, and migration tool. Download the ANT migration. Download the ANT migration tool. Download the ANT migration tool. So what is the navigation that we had? Now download the ANT migration tool. This will be a zip file. Download it. You're going to get a Apache. Look at the point. Salesforce and 45.0. Salesforce and 45.0. This is a zip file what you're getting. Once again, I'll repeat. Setup, build, develop tools, writing platform tools and toolkits. Then we have and migration tool, download the zip file. So once you got this, then we are supposed to download Apache and download. Go to the and Apache, download the latest version, click on the file, then you're going to get a zip. So Apache and 1.10.5 zip. So these two files are loaded here. Once these two files are loaded, extract the files. Extract both the zip files, Salesforce and Apache, and extract the files. Once you extract the files, in the Salesforce and 45.0, there is a jar file and Salesforce. Copy this jar file. Copy this jar file. Go to Apache and library, paste it. So whatever the ant jar file was there in Salesforce, and whatever the ant Salesforce file was there, copy this file, paste it to Apache and library, paste it here. I hope you are good with this. Then we are supposed to set environmental variables. Now how do you set it? First let us set the Java. Go to C drive, programming files, Java, JDK, copy the file, then go to C drive, my computers, properties, advanced system settings, environmental variables, new, Java home, then again choose the path, then we have edit, we have edit text, slash, along with the bin, it is path. Without bin, it is home. Java home, path. Path will be already existing. In the existing, give semicolon followed by Java bin folder path. In the home, without bin folder. Right. Done. Go back to this command prompt. Java -1 1.8.0 181. Now let us get into the next one. We are going to create Apache and go to the and then excluding the bin, copy the file, system settings, environmental variables, new, similarly go to the path, edit text, set the environmental variables. And is not recognized. Environmental variables are not set properly.
In path, I think we next semicolon. Is that because
Go back to the my my properties, advanced environmental variables, path, edit text. In semicolon, and hyphen version and is installed. So Java should be installed and should be downloaded. Set the path of Java, set the path of and, then we are going to create package.xml, build okay properties.build okay build.properties file, build.xml file. Here we have the first one. I was creating my own folder. I'll remove this folder. This is the folder. First one we need to understand build.properties. What will be there in the build.properties? It will contain credentials of the organization, from where you want to fetch the data, from where you want to fetch the code, or the credentials of the organization to which you want to deploy the code, or from where you want to fetch or to which you want to deploy. Their credentials will be given here. So we are giving here username, development or developer. What is the username? Take the password. Then because it's a production, login.salesforce.com, max poll equal to 20. So build.properties file will contain properties of those elements which you want to, credentials of the organization, from where you want to fetch or to which you want to deploy. Now the org from where you want to fetch the metadata, or the org to which you want to deploy, their data will be there in build.properties. Build.properties will contain credentials of the organization to which you want to deploy, or from where you want to fetch it. Then what we are doing next, we had package.xml. Package.xml. What is the package.xml? This will contain list of elements which you want to deploy, or the list of elements which you want to fetch. So paste. List of elements which you want to deploy or which you want to fetch. So here I have class nodes, topics covered, or object nodes, demo page. Class nodes, object nodes, demo page. Next example. Now, Go back to the package.xml. So this will contain the list of elements which you want to fetch or which you want to deploy. Now, types, members. Then I want to give members. Members. Then we have members. Members. Then we have name. So we have specified which elements you want. If you want everything, if you want all the elements, then we are going to give this is how you take it. Then after creating a package.xml, then we are supposed to create build.xml file. What is a build.xml file? This will establish a connection between package.xml file and build.properties. First, build.properties are included into build.xml file because that contains the properties of the or credentials of the organization in which you want to fetch. So include build.properties. Once you include the build.properties, then you specify this standard definition: username, password, session ID. And what you are supposed to do? If you remember well, this is the file which we uploaded into Ant, Apache Ant. We copied Ant Salesforce.jar file, we pasted into Apache Ant library, right? So that's what. Then next, what do you want to do? I want to retrieve the code. When you want to retrieve the code, each operation is called a target. Each operation is called as target. Now I want to create a target. This will fetch from the dash 18R. This is how we are getting. Now, I am giving here fetch my code, username from build.properties, password from build.properties, session ID from build.properties, server URL from build.properties, max call from build.properties. Retrieve target. When you say retrieve target, name of the folder into which you want to deploy. Batch 318. Now this is the path. Build.xml and batch 318 both are at the same location. That is the reason I gave straight away. If both are not at the same location, then you have to give the location of the folder. If the build.xml and this folder both are at the same location, straight away I gave folder name. If both are not at the same location, I was supposed to mention the folder name. Now, where is your package.xml file? This is how we are taking. Fetch my code. Then, what we are supposed to do? Once you have set this, then go to the location of build.xml. Where was that build.xml? Copy that path. Path of build.xml file. Change it to that path. Now I am at the location where build.xml file was available. Then give and fetch my and target name and space target name. Whatever the target you have given and space target name. Enter it. So build was successful. Go to the folder. Bash 318. Classes. What I mentioned. Pages, which I mentioned. Then I told all the triggers. So all the triggers are fetched. This is how from that arg everything is fetched. Now this I want to deploy to another arg. Now let us say I am trying to deploy this code to another arg. What is your admin account username password? Admin 318. Admin at the rate of 318. Now remove the IP address restriction so that I can set directly username password. Right. Now, the code what I fetched, I want to deploy the code into this arg. And what I'm doing, build.properties. This is the organization to which I want to deploy. Then build.xml, I want to deploy the code. When you want to deploy the code, create one target which is used to deploy the code. What was this? Deploy the code. Now, deploy my code. Username, password, session ID, server URL, Maxwell. This is common everywhere. Now, where is your code? Where is your code? Code is in batch T1A. Now, do you want to run all the test classes or specific test classes? Now, there is a possibility that, okay, I may get any code coverage issue. So, I want to go ahead with specific test classes. What are the specific test classes? Test example. So, I want to run specific test classes. So, what I should do? Run test. I told run these specific test classes. Right. Now, next point. Do you want to deploy everything? I don't want to deploy everything. I want to deploy only few elements. Do you want to deploy everything? I don't want to deploy everything. I want to deploy only few elements. What are they? Triggers I will not deploy. Why? Because code coverage is not there for every trigger. I didn't write test class for every trigger. I didn't write test class for every trigger. So I will not be able to deploy it. So only these are the elements. So go back and deploy my code. So in the target, I gave the name of the folder where my code is available. I gave package.xml file where the elements which I need to deploy is given. So fresh the code from one arg to your system, from the system arg to the next one. What happened? Look at this. Triggers are still running. The changes what I made, they are not saved. The changes what I made, they are not saved. So failed because of trigger. So again, go to command line. Go to the location of and deploy my code. Again, deploy failed. Contact example trigger. See, still that changes are not uploaded here. Go to the location, build.xml, deploy my code. Still the old package.xml file, still the path is not set. So basically, what are the files that are required for this? Build.properties, package.xml, build file, build.properties, package.xml, and build file. This three are. And what is the operation? Each operation is called target. Each operation is called target. Now, The drawback of chain set is using chain set, we can only deploy from particular org sandbox to production or particular org sandbox to sandbox. Still the same thing is. Now the point here is, the mistake here is, I gave the folder, but I not deleted the triggers in this. This issue. I deleted only package.xml, but I not deleted the triggers part. Okay. So when you take a change set only from that org, from a particular organization, sandbox to production, sandbox to sandbox, you can deploy. We cannot deploy from cross org. One org sandbox to another org we cannot deploy. We cannot deploy from one org sandbox to another org sandbox. It is only within that org we can deploy. But when you go to the end, from any org we can deploy to any org. So what was this? Build successful. Go back to this. Setup. What are the classes we deployed? Look at this. Apex example 1, example 2, test. Object nodes, class nodes, demo nodes. I hope you're good. We are deploying from one org to another org. What are the files that are required for us? Build properties, package.xml, and we have build properties. This is the way of deployment. Let us take another way of deployment. What is the other way of deployment? We want to deploy using Eclipse. We want to deploy using Eclipse. How can you deploy using Eclipse? First, download the Eclipse. Download the Eclipse. Go to eclipse.org. Download the latest version of Eclipse. Then you get a zip file like this. When you get a zip file, extract the zip file. Go to eclipse.org. Download the Eclipse latest version. Eclipse latest version for Java developers. Download the Eclipse latest version for Java developers. Download the Eclipse latest version for Java developers. Download the Eclipse latest version for Java developers. Once you download it, then go to in the Eclipse. We had icon here. You're finding an icon. Once you download the Eclipse, it is going to be a zip file. Once you download an Eclipse, it is going to be a zip file. Once it is a zip file, what you are supposed to do? Click on the zip file. Once you download, you are going to get a zip file. Extract the zip file. You find the Eclipse logo. Click on that Eclipse logo. Go to eclipse.org. Download the Eclipse latest version. Define the workspace. Workspace means where the code should be saved. Where the code should be saved. Right. Once I open the Eclipse, what are you finding on the top? Java. But what is the code we want to write? We want to write Salesforce code. But we are getting Java. So what we are supposed to do? Salesforce Eclipse plugin. Salesforce Eclipse plugin. Salesforce Eclipse plugin. Then when you go to this, you're finding a URL here. Salesforce Eclipse plugin. You're finding a URL. Go to the Eclipse. Help. Install new software. Add then you're going to get this. Enable this. Click on next. Did you follow my point? Salesforce to Eclipse plugin, if you type, you get a URL. Once you get the URL, what we are supposed to do? Help, install new software, add, select them, next, accept the terms and condition, just give next, accept the terms and condition, finish. Just give next, it will restart the system. Okay, now we got this. Now still it is in Java, right? We are supposed to change from Java to Salesforce. Window, perspective, open perspective, other, force dot. What is that? Window, perspective, open perspective, other, force.com. Now look at this, what you are getting on the top, force dot. Now Eclipse is set for your development. Now whatever I am going to write in this org, they should be saved to, Salesforce. So what I will do, file, new, force.com project. Bash 318, development 318, username, password, Salesforce 123. Now I already made it as open, so no need of going for security token. Next. So I told new project, enter the username, password. Then what happened? Whatever I have in 318 account, I am fetching them. So what I'm doing, file, new, force.com project, enter the username, password, click on next, finish. Then look at this. Your project is featured here, classes, pages, components, what we created. All of them are featured. Right. I hope you're good with this. Now all of them are featured. Now what I want to do, here I want to write a code. Whatever the code I am writing in the Eclipse, that should be straight away saved to Salesforce. Then go to the project name, right click, scroll down. What are you finding here? Here we have an option called work online. When you select work online, whatever the changes we make here, they will be directly saved to the Salesforce. Now look at this account, give a right click, new. I have Visual Force page, Eclipse page 1. Then I wrote some code, gave Control S. Once I gave Control S, you will be finding the workspace. Go back to the account, setup. You're able to see Eclipse page 1 because I was working on work online. Again, give a right click, new Visual Force. This is how we got it. Now you can look at this build workspace. Now the pages are created. Now what happened? I wrote some programs from the Eclipse. Now I want these programs to be deployed to the production. Or I want these programs to be deployed to another org. So what should I do? Give a right click. Here you are seeing force.com. Deploy to which account you want to deploy. admin@318.com. Salesforce 123. This is the organization to which I want to deploy. Next. So what did I give? Right click, deploy to server. Remove this destination archive. Next. Now you are able to see. Now it's asking which elements you want to deploy. Which elements you want to deploy? Which elements you want to deploy? Now I want to deploy Eclipse. Page 1. These are the 2 elements I want to deploy. Then what we have? So if they are not available in the destination organization, they'll be shown in green color. If they are already available, they give you a warning color override. If the test classes are not run, they show red color that the following classes are missing test class. So we can well in advance know what is the issue. Then validate. Validation was successful. Then I'm saying next. Finish. Then their case. Go back to this. Setup. Then what you are finding here? Eclipse page 1, page 2. They are deployed to this organization. Once again, how you deploy it? Give a right click. Force.com. Deploy to server. Enter the username, password of the organization. Remove the destination archive. Next. Select what you want to deploy. Now look at this. Now already I deployed a few things. This requires some test classes. Already these are existing in production. Like whatever the organization do which I told no problem. I know that they are existing, so I made changes on this. Already they are existing. My current code, okay, the classes already existing, but In the current one, I made some changes. So they say if you upload this, if you deploy this, existing code will be replaced. Already there are elements with the same name. If you deploy this, they will be replaced. I told no issue. I told no issue. Validate. Then again, next. Finish. I hope you are good with this. People are good with this. Right. Now, at the same time, here, I made some changes on the Salesforce. How do you get these changes back to your org? Right click, force.com. What do we have? Refresh from. Now the changes which are there in the server, we want to fetch. Sometime when I am working with the Eclipse, what happened? Internet connection is not there. Then when I save it, it is saved to local system, not saved to the Salesforce. When the internet is there, I want to again save back. So advantage of working with Eclipse is without internet we can work. When we get the internet connection, we can synchronize it. That's one of the advantages of going with this Eclipse. Now, go back. Got Eclipse page number. Right, boss? Okay. Now, sometimes what happened, I made some changes. There is no internet connection. Later on, I want to sync it. Then I say, save to synchronize with the server. The synchronize with the server changes both way. The changes that are there in the system, the changes which are there in production, both will be synchronized. I hope you got my point. So how did you do that? File, new, force.com project, enter the username, password, click next, next, project will go. Give a right click, force.com, work online. Already I clicked on it, so we have work offline. But when you don't click on it, this work online. Click on the work online. So whatever the changes are happening here, they will directly save to Salesforce. If you want to deploy to server. If you want a fresh copy from the environment, the fresh from server. Save to server. Now there are some uncommitted changes. There is no internet. You still worked on your Eclipse. Then when the internet came, I want to say save to server. I want to do both the sides, synchronize. So we say synchronize. You want to test the code. What was this? Asynchronous. We got a debug window, right? Same here, we have debug window. Are you clear about this? What was that? Right click, force.com, execute. Write the code here, you are able to find it. I hope you are good. Let us go to the next part of the story. So we have done the synchronization. What is the advantage of going for the Eclipse? When you already have a developer console, why are you preferring to go with Eclipse? In the developer console, there is no version controlling. What do you mean by that? Let us say I wrote 1,000 lines of program. When I wrote 1,000 lines of program, I saved it. Then it is not, the functionality was not working properly. So they asked me to modify, make some changes. Now I modified the change. I made the changes. Let us say 50 lines of program I modified. When I saved, the entire functionality is not working. I thought of making some changes. Then I made some changes on the program. Because of my changes, entire functionality is not working. Then they told, boss, come back to the old code and use it. You made some changes, it stopped working, entire functionality stopped working. They told, revert back to the old code. But in the developer console, what happened? Once I save the code is saved. We will not have old copy. Whatever the old copy is there, that is replaced with the new copy. Once it is saved, no more old copy will be there. So if I want to revert back, there is no choice. Again, I have to do those changes. Because in the developer console, only one version will be saved. Once it's saved, old is removed, new is saved. Now it is not a good practice. Okay, it's not a good practice when you are working with a larger code. If I'm working with the 2,000 lines of code, every time I make a change, if it is permanently saved, then I have a problem. I cannot come back to the old version. There is a reason people are going for version control. In the Eclipse, we can have version control. We can have local version controlling. That's the second one. Now, if you go with a change set, we can deploy from sandbox to associated production. But whereas in the Eclipse, from any org, we can deploy to any org. Any org, we can deploy to any org. Now, if you want to use an Eclipse, in the Eclipse, we have built-in version controlling. What is that? Look at this. Window, perspective, open, perspective. Then, what was this? JIT. So inbuilt JIT is there. In the Salesforce, we have inbuilt JIT. Inbuilt JIT. What is the JIT? JIT is a distributed version controlling system. JIT is a distributed version controlling system. Previously, we have centralized version controlling system, but now we have distributed version controlling system. What do you mean by this distributed version controlling system? Now let us say this is a developer. This is the environment what he is using. Now he wrote a program. Then he saved it. Everything is working fine. If everything is working fine, he will upload the changes to production. In the production, he saved the copy as version 1.0. Then again, he made some other changes. Now it is working fine. He uploaded. What did he upload? The same code. The modifications what he made, he uploaded to the server. Now what was this? ABCD. Then again, he made changes. Then everything is working fine. He uploaded. So every time you make a change, where is the changes saved? Now, what is the copy of the code this fellow is having? Now, developer is having only latest copy of the code. Developer is having the latest version of code. All the previous versions are available on server. Now, this guy, he brought the change. Let's say 3.0, he brought it. He made a change. He uploaded this. Now, the developers will be having only latest version of code on their system. They will be having latest version of the code. So, developers have only the current copy of the code. The previous copies of the code is not available with them. They are available with the server. They have only current copy. Now, this is what? Centralized. This is what? Centralized. They are maintaining the versioning. But where is the version maintained? On the server. And everybody has only current version of the code. Now, if something happened, server crashed. Something happened, server crashed. What will happen? We lost entire code. We have only current copy, previous versions are lost. That is the reason people went for distributed version controlling. What the people have started? Distributed version controlling. In the distributed version controlling, what happened? They made a code saved it. So what is 1.0? The local also we have. Then he made a change, working fine, uploading. Same code is also maintained in the local. Again, he made a change. Everything is working fine. He uploaded. So copy is maintained here. So everybody has their own local copy. Everybody has their own local copy. Whatever the changes he has made, he has maintaining a local copy. He's maintaining local copy. Again, this fellow made some changes. At his side. He uploading. So what happened? Everybody has their own local copies. Everybody has their own local copies. If the server crashed, what will happen? No problem. I have my own local copies. If the server crashed, no problem. I have my own local copies. I can work with this. So this is called distributed version controlling system. Are you clear? Previously, the developer has only the latest version of the copy. Remaining copies are backed up in the server. But now, every change that you make is also saved at your local system, and one copy is saved to the server. If the server crashed, you have your local copy. This is called distributed version controlling system. Now in this, what is the tool we are using? I hope you are good. So let me explain you this. Now, give a right click. First, let me make a change. This is example 3. This is a wiki. Now, when you saved this, go back to the pages, go to the Eclipse, give a right click. Now here we are. Compare with or replace with local history. Replace with local history. Now, how many copies we have? 1050. Old copy is there. 1050. When I click on this, replace, what is the code we got? Your code is replaced with the old copy because we are maintaining a local copy there. Then again, go to the Eclipse, replace with the previous from local history. Right? Are you getting my point? Go to the Eclipse, replace with the local history. In the local history, what happened? At 1150, we had one code. 12.1, we had one code. 12.2, we had one code. So every time we modified, it is saving like one local copy. Now, if something goes wrong, I can replace. I selected this code, replace. Right? So every time you are saving, it is maintaining a local copy. Right? So I want to maintain a repository now. If you want to maintain a repository, give a right click. I hope you got to the point. Every time you make a change, okay, changes and save, one local copy is saved here. I want to maintain a local repository. I want to maintain a server-side repository. Now, what was that server-side repository? I don't want to maintain the copy on my system. One copy I want to maintain on my system. One copy I want to maintain on server. GitHub. You can create a trial account. Now, Here we had, what is the option? New repository 318. Is it a public? Yes, public. Do you want to add any readme document? Not required. I created a repository. Then we got a URL here, right? It's very important. Go back to this. Give a right click. What was the option here? Team. Share the project. I told where is the location in which you want to create a local copy. Now you want to maintain a local repository. Where you want to maintain that local repository? I gave a folder name. Finish. In that location, my local copy will be saved. Then you're finding a question mark here, right? You're finding a question mark. Then give a right click. Then theme. Here we have add to index. You're finding add to index. It is add to index. Whatever the changes, whatever the files, I don't want to take a backup of every file. Now already project is there. Whatever the files on which you made a change, okay, add those files to the indexer so that they will be maintained as a copy. Whatever the files we made a change, only those files should be tracked. I have to maintain them as one copy. So I told add to index. Now the question mark is changed to star mark. Look at this. Question mark is changed to star mark. Give a right click. Team. Then we have commit or push branch master. Commit. Commit. Now they'll ask you, do you want to commit to the local repository or do you want to commit to the server-side repository? Local repository is on your system. Copy of it will be saved on your system. Server-side repository on your GitHub. So commit and push. Push to what? Push to what? Push to this repository. When you create a repository, we got a file here, right? Copy this URL of the repository, paste it. Then ask your username. This is my server-side repository URL. Save this code to my GitHub. Next. Finish. Pushing to remote repositories. Then go to GitHub. Raj 318. My code is captured here. So I maintain a repository on my server side. Now I'll repeat the same once again. I was making some changes. I made some changes. Now I want to maintain a server-side repository. Give a right click. Team. Now push to upstream or push to branch master. I want to push to branch master. Next. Your Now changes what I made, I'm trying to push it to okay. Go back to your Eclipse. Page number 3. The changes are not saved. Let me give back. Team, commit, then select all the elements. Commit and push. There's some error here. Not a problem. Let me go to this again, this area, make some changes here. I'm making a changes from GitHub. Go to the Eclipse. Team, pull, there's a conflict of checkout. Again, I have to disconnect. Right click, team, share the project, finish. Right click, team, add to index. Right click, team, commit or push. Master rejected. Why what was rejected? For some reason is getting rejected. Basically, what is the advantage of going for this Eclipse? We are able to maintain local side repository, server side repository. There is advantage of going for this. Team, fetch from upstream. Everything is up to date. Okay, no changes are done. I'll go to the screen again. Team, commit, when I click on commit, it will ask for the branch name. commit and push. Java SFDC. Basically, make a changes, make commit and push, or else pull. Rejected, non-fast forward. Why there was issue with that? There is some issue with this. Okay, let me do it another way. Push to upstream. I'll try the other way. So basically, it's getting rejected for next update. I'll check it out. We'll see it in the next session. Let me check out why it is failing. Okay. So we'll see how to maintain the repository. The DX will be telling you this format. We'll be covering that, how to maintain it. But basically, what is the advantage of this Eclipse? If you are going for the Eclipse, we have a choice of maintaining local side repository and server side repository of the code what you are writing, which is not possible in the developer console. That's all from my end. We'll continue in the next session. We'll see this in the next session. The offshare will change. If you off it, the changes what we made, they'll not enable. And if the active index changes here, what index add this, I will deploy open. అది అక్కడి నుంచి పుల్ చేయాలి, దాన్ని పుల్ చేయాలి. ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ చేస్తే ఇండెక్స్ కాదు, ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ చేస్తే అక్కడ మాస్టర్ బ్రాంచ్ కనెక్ట్ కాదు. ఇది ఆల్రెడీ మాస్టర్ బ్రాంచ్, అక్కడ పుల్ చేసుకోవాలి. ఎక్లిప్స్ నుంచి పుష్ చేస్తాం, ఇక్కడ నుంచి పుల్ చేస్తాం. పుల్ చేసేటప్పుడు కనెక్షన్ ఫెయిల్ అయింది. No, we'll be calling in the session. Monday. That's what's there. This one. From Monday, I'll be starting. Admin. Contact. Only 7 admin. I'm not sure.